All right, welcome to another edition of Grown Folks Business. Tonight's show is supposed to be about travel. It's sight unseen. What destinations um, are in your travel plans and why? I think we're gonna do as good of a job as we can and stick on point. But as we proved in the past many times on Grown Folks Business, we can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So if something starts to paint outside the lines, I think we'll be able to handle it because a lot has taken place this week, in the last couple of days, in the media sphere. And if you guys have tuned in enough, you know that's where a large part of my focus lies. So you got Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson losing positions at their respective networks, and we lost civil rights activists and heavy supporter of civil rights. Someone I think they use their positionality in entertainment in a productive way for Black Americans during a most tumultuous time, even though we're still in tumultuous times. That's Harry Belafonte, the woman who is responsible for Emmett Till's untimely demise in 1955, I think it was. Carolyn Bryant passed away, and as someone mentioned right before we came on air, Jerry Springer, that notorious daytime television host who brought a lot of nonsense into our living rooms, has left us also. So those things may get touched on as we discuss things that were supposed to be wholly centered around travel and what you might have planned, because the summer is upon us, it's coming, and travel season is here. And I don't know about you, I don't have to go far, but I like to go somewhere. Um, and I don't always like for that place to be familiar. Like to go somewhere I haven't been before, somewhere it's on the list of things to do. And we're just going to bounce around the space and discuss some of those places for each one of us and the why that's attached to it. So let's begin with hey Arthur, how you doing, man? I got the link to you just in time. If you can jump on, come on. If not, we got some things to catch up on. I know on the other side of things, so let's make sure we do so. So sight unseen, what destinations are in your travel plans and why? I'm gonna hope that this goes something like this. I'm gonna say my place. We all should have multiple places. I'm gonna say my why, and then I'm coming to you, and I want to hear all about yours, and let's just engage in this and that particular manner. Jay, glad you can make it here. Celeste, always good to see you. Glad things have slowed down enough for you to share some time with us. And Julia, I don't know where Gregory is, but I know you come as a pair, so hope to see him sit down next to you very soon. And good to see you as always. Adanya, thanks for doing what you do here, bro. So I'm going to start. One of the places that is in my travel plans that I have not gotten to, which is kind of the rub in this conversation, because we talked about where you've been and where you want to go before. But tonight, Arthur, thanks for jumping in, man. If you didn't hear some of what I discussed at the beginning of this thing, I know a lot is taking place this week, and we may get to it, and that's some stuff I wouldn't mind hearing from you about. But if we don't, we will have a show that covers some of the most recent events that I just kind of alluded to, and that was Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, Harry Belafonte, Carolyn Bryant. There's just things that we could definitely be talking on that might be a bit intriguing for the evening's conversation. But we're gonna talk about this travel thing. So sight unseen, what destinations are in your travel plans and why is the topic tonight. Costa Rica is one I'm going to start with, and one of the primary reasons is I heard it's a beautiful place. And I heard that they're very welcoming to Black Americans there. Now, I mean that in the sense of I was looking at it during a period of time where it's like, I don't know if I can make it in America because this place is just really doing us bad. Where else in the world makes sense? And just Googling, where expats have gravitated to, Costa Rica was one of the destinations. And it looked rather nice. So it's going to stay on my list, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in America. This is home. So, I'm proud of that. I'm going to stand on that part. So it's not for an escape anymore. It's just for a visit and a vacation. But I've heard really good things. I've had colleagues who went there, talked about how nice the people were, how good the environment is, and, got a little bit of wildlife, but it's also got a little bit of paradise. So that's one of mine. That's how I kind of want the show to flow tonight. Just I come to you, tell us what's one of your places and why, and we'll keep going until we run out of places. I have a lot, so I can keep going for a while. So Celeste, since you are here and you got some free time because things are wound down in that law school pursuit, tell me what's in your destination plans.
So I'm a travel bug. My parents started me out young. I would say I want to go to Europe. I definitely want to do a tour of Europe because there's so much history there. I love history so much. I majored in it in college and then did politics and political science on the other side of things. So I want to go through history. Like I love the history of France, like the Valois family, the history of England and their royal family, how they're actually more German than they are English, and how Prince William will be the first king of England to actually be majority English. I have no desire to go to Asia. I want to go all through Europe. And you're bringing up Costa Rica. I was just talking to a friend last night. People don't realize how many Afro-Latina people exist in Latin America. It's actually very, very Black and brown. So I would love to go to Latin American countries. I would love to just see the culture. It's not plantain, it's plantain. We're gonna stop saying plantain. It's plantain. And like the culture, the food, the people. I would say in Latin American countries, my father was down in Panama under the Reagan administration, and he even talked about it. He was like, ain't nobody gonna know that you're not from there unless you start talking. So the culture, the people, the friendliness of it all. Yeah, if they had, unlimited flight plans or free flights for life, I'd be out. Felton, I'm shocked that you want to stay here. I feel like there's so much to see. I know America's home, but sometimes it'd be a little sketchy-detchy. It's a little sketchy. Might want to run out a little bit and go see something, maybe 6 months at a time.
I do not deny the fact that I might travel in a way that is more long term. So that's because it's nothing like actually being somewhere and immersed in what takes place and what goes on. And I took Spanish, I passed it, because I had to. But I think the only way to really speak and learn that language or learn and speak that language is to be immersed in where it's being spoken, and you got to figure out how you're going to eat and find this place and that place. You know what I mean? That's the motivation. So I'm with you. I would take a longer vacation, but man, ain't nothing like America. America's a wonderful place. Just, warts and all. Coming to Julia next. You've been some places and spaces, but what's one that's on your list? And you can be as broad or as narrow with this as you like.
Great. Yeah. We were in the travel business. So people used to say, what's your favorite trip? And that was always the trip I was on or my next one. And like Celeste, I love the warmth of the South America, Guatemala, El Salvador. Costa Rica is just got so much diversity and beauty with the rainforests and the people, probably some of the friendliest people, Mexico even. And I studied French, and that's one of the only places I haven't visited is France, but I've been to Italy, and I'd love to go back to Norway and Denmark and Finland. It's so clean and pristine and beautiful, and they really take care of the people there. Like it's the lowest recidivism rate with prisoners. They don't lock them up in terrible jail cells. What I'm really looking forward to coming up is I'm involved with something called the Davie Respect Initiative, which is for young people 12 to 21 to come up with ideas about increasing respect in our county. And we were have y'all heard of All American Cities? The designation? Well, there's 10 cities or counties that are announced All American Cities. And we put in an application with 3 other youth type run organizations. And we are going to Denver with a contingent of young people. And the theme this year, sometimes it's racial equity, sometimes it's police citizen relationships. They have different themes every year. This year, it's creating thriving communities through youth engagement. And they have fantastic roundtables that the kids will be able to be involved with. It's really jam-packed full of opportunities for young people. And it happens to be in Denver, and it's the same week as the high school graduation here. So Gregory and I are going with some college kids and a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds. So it's going to be an adventure.
Well, I hope you guys get a little exercise so you can keep up.
Yeah.
Now.
We need to take our Wheaties now.
Yeah, get your Wheaties now. I want to say, and I want to ask you, what about France? What is attractive about it? Because that's the place we haven't been. Remember, we're going to talking about the places we haven't been, and give me one, and we'll keep going around, and then we'll get to the question. Yeah, what's your attraction to France?
I don't have that much attraction to France, actually, except maybe the southern France. I love the language, but when I heard about Paris, and they don't like Americans, and they don't really like anybody, but south of France is supposed to be beautiful with the farmlands and the wineries and so forth. So that might be a place.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Jay, coming to you next. And Arthur, you get the ebb and the flow, I guess, now. But Jay, coming to you next. Give me that place that you have on your list of destinations that you have not been to, and the why.
Oh, I'm almost like Celeste, but I actually want to do a full tour of Africa. And now when I say that, when the kids are grown, I actually want to spend time just over there for like months, just touring all of Africa. And I want to tour not the touristy places. I really want to get really endoused in the culture. And so I definitely want to, because I'm a history person too. And I love so much of the fact that there's a lot of history that we know very little about. And I just want to sit there and be there. Unlike you, I do want to retire out of the country. I don't want to die on American soil for some reason. I want to transition somewhere. Right now, I'm thinking about Panama because they got a great program. If you make like $2,000 a month, you can live way better than what we live here, and they'll help you transition and all of that up until you leave. So it's things like that that I'm thinking about. And my third destination is it's more spiritual for me. I just want to get to a place of pure spiritual self-actualization, where I'm in tune with myself more emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically, where they all have made this great chiasmic space. So a spiritual journey is definitely what I'm on as well.
Yeah. So save some of those other destinations because we're gonna go back around. But I do like one of your observations in terms of the eternal journey to find oneself and find balance and symmetry and all of that good stuff. I kind of equate that to outer space, Jay. So I'm always looking to get out of space. Don't get me wrong. I'll explore the universe. And I'm a citizen of the world. Don't misappropriate my energies towards, understanding that I am rooted in this flawed country. I don't want to adhere to some fantastical ideas about anywhere else when I know where I'm at. So much is taking place and is responsible for the world eking and edging towards betterment. And I take great pride in those who came before me in this space. But yeah, I don't know where potentially you end up because the world is a big place. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, mine is not my disdain. My desire to be has nothing to do with a disdain for America. It's just always I felt that there was a longing for somewhere else. And I always played it safe. And now that I'm divorced and the kid's going to be out of here, I can kind of pursue my whole life without compromise. And I just have a desire to be somewhere else.
Dig it, man, because when things change with you, sometimes your environment can change. Your thoughts of your environment can change. So I dig that. Arthur, what's your one destination that you processing at this moment, and why?
China. I've always been intrigued.
Your sounds bad, Arthur.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's pretty choppy.
Hold on one second. Can y'all hear me?
Perfect.
Y'all can hear me now? Okay. I was saying about China, about the unique cultures up there in China, studying the things that I've studied about the African presence there. And a lot of monuments actually has been erected for Africans who migrated there to actually establish the continent. So I was always intrigued by that. I always wanted to visit. Actually is looking into taking Chinese as a second language. Very hard, but I do it every once in a while. They got free sites that every day they update words. So, you know, that's my one spot. I think I eventually will get there. I just got to put aside like a month in order to do it.
So I'm gonna just say this because I learned this a while ago, but I think it's important. I think it's, what is it, Mandarin? Am I right, Celeste? Yeah, Mandarin. So I thought that was pretty fascinating, Arthur, because I always thought it was the Chinese was the language also, but it actually has another name. And your why is just because you know there's some element that's connected to African.
Yeah, see, they say African pygmies migrated eons ago, and there are actually monuments erected to the African pygmy tribe that went there to establish it. And we lose that in translation because we don't do a lot of research, or some of us really don't care about it. But I'm always intrigued by that. And some people who I know who are like, you know, I would say conscious Chinese individuals, they speak of that as well. And the disillusionment between our communities and theirs. So I would always want to just go to see, you know, what it's like for us to go over there. And I see how they look at certain African Americans when we go over there. It's like they are in awe to see one of us just come in their environment and just be there with them. So I think I want to tackle that.
I dig it. I saw a video of a guy that was over there recently. A black guy was over there recently. He was interacting with some young people, and it was not a cringy fascination. It did seem like some type of adoration was being shared with those individuals who wanted to take pictures with him and such. Yet the world was once a smaller place, right? So there is generally some points of contact between civilizations and interactions between people we think have been closed off forever. And I think some of that history that you're speaking of, Arthur, that we don't get to know much about is because China did close the door for so long, for so many hundreds of years. You could not find out much about the hidden kingdom, or I forget however they labeled it. But yeah, China was very closed off, and you know, for that reason, we still don't know a whole lot. But that's interesting. That's something I wasn't totally aware of. I know there's always been arguments that there always is the argument that Africa is the birthplace of humanity itself. So there is some point of contact for people who come from Africa on every continent. Go ahead. You got something on that?
No, I was just saying, when I grew up in Philadelphia, there was like a major Chinese presence on my actual block that I grew up in University City, Southwest Philadelphia. And we would all play, and I actually had access. Like I could go into their homes, and you know, it was not like you said, a cringy thing. It was like I was family to these people. Like, and this when I was a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old. And then I can remember like the fracturing of the relationship between us and them. And I think it was like 86, I'm like 12. The cocaine thing came into Philadelphia. Then the block became fractured. It's like they was on one end of the block, we was at the top, and in the middle you had the white folks who was once prominent there. It's like a middle class community. And then I remember like the association just stopped. It was like, no, don't play with them, don't hang around them, because they actually knew what we were, or our families were becoming involved in. And then as we got older, we started still, hey, what's going on? A lot of them went off to college, and a lot of us went to the streets. So, the dynamics that contributed to us manifesting the way we did and the way they did, we spoke up about more of the cultural expectations and what they were allowed to do and what we weren't, instructed to do in terms of our poverty against theirs, because at the time they had entrepreneurialism when they came over and we didn't. So I guess Dr. King spoke about that in his famous bootstrap that we don't have type of argument. So that's another conversation though. So
nah, shoeless people. Yeah, you ain't got no boots on. How you gonna pull yourself up with the bootstraps? Yeah, some of that conversation I actually had earlier today, where we were discussing how America has as a stepping block generally Black communities, where other immigrants and other peoples can come in and generate some wealth by opening stores and things of that nature. But you're right, that's a different conversation. But I completely get that dynamic. But I also talked about earlier something you just spoke of, and that's that exposure across racial lines, because the social construct of race in America is so real and palpable that once it slams you in your face, because you get to a certain age and you realize something has shifted, and the white friends that you once had, you don't have anymore. It's not the same type of relationship dynamic. There's a ceiling that's much lower a lot of times for those relationships in regards to Black people in this country. But again, another conversation. But this is about exposure to different cultures, different places. So I'm going to go again, and my next one, I'm going to connect to Julia. In the France thing. Paris is somewhere I want to go. I haven't been, and it's for a reason that's connected to some of what we're discussing, and some of that escapism that Celeste is alluding to in terms of America, and Jay's acknowledging. A lot of expats went there, especially during the 40s, 50s, 60s. Jazz musicians, artists, writers, James Baldwin, Richard Wright. A lot of musicians spent significant time there, Coltrane. So I know that there's supposed to be some type of rudeness attached to it, Julia, but I like to think there was a reason that it was so attractive to so many people that I truly appreciate. Richard Wright being paramount among those. He's was an outstanding literary guy and writer, and I think he's responsible for communicating to the world the Black American experience in a way that is undeniable in how articulate it was. So what did he get into while he was over there that gave him some of that energy? My sister has been there, and she took a picture of the place that he lived while he was there. And so that's on my list as well, and it's for those reasons. Celeste, give me another one if you got it. And the why?
For me, I would say this is a place I really don't want to go. And it was Italy. When somebody said it, I was like, let's talk about Italy. So I have a friend, she studied in Finland, did a semester abroad when we were in college, and she's a big Euro head. She actually lived in Europe to get her master's. One thing about a lot of these places, as a Black woman, I just wouldn't go there, especially alone. Like Italy, people always talk about, oh, Italian men love Black women. There was a whole reality show at one point in time about Black women going to Italy to find love. Well, one, it's a fetish. It's not necessarily a like. And on top of that, there are certain parts of Italy that are so racist to Black people that they actually tell Black citizens not to go there. It's similar to how when me and a friend were going to the Dominican Republic in college, they told her she couldn't leave the resort because her skin was too dark and they would think she was Haitian. So a lot of these places are wonderful and they're beautiful, and I want to go, especially Italy. Love the culture, love the food. Olive Garden is the Italian Applebee's. It does not count. If you like Olive Garden, you do not like Italian food. But I want to go to Italy so bad, but the sheer warning that people give me whenever I say I want to go who have been, it always terrifies me because I'm like, oh, Italy, I grew up thinking it would be this beautiful, fair place. a lot of these places were mentioning Black soldiers went and stayed after World War II, and it actually put a sour taste in a lot of European citizens' mouths. So for me, now I try to look at the actual diversity, the actual numbers, like the Caribbean or Caribbean. I believe it's Caribbean, but I know some people say it differently. And Latin and South America, they sound so great to me because I know when I go there, I'll see a lot of faces like mine. And like Jay Dwayne was saying, like, yes, some countries, of course, poverty and low income is still a thing, but it's so many Afro-Latina people doing so well that I want to go and participate in that. I don't want to go somewhere where I have to fear for my safety, especially because I am Black and a woman. And I travel with majority.
Did she, Celeste, you froze?
She was
Yeah,
doing so good. She
I
was
know.
holding on.
It was good too. Celeste, okay. Yeah, you froze.
Oh, she was fussing at somebody.
Somebody getting. Go
Sorry.
ahead. Get back on track.
Me and my dog, we're going back and forth. But the way it's really going is I want to go somewhere where I know I can see Black people living well, doing well, being well, and I want to participate. Like Jay DeWay was saying, I think I want to go down here, you know, when I pass away, because my family, we all buried in the same place. But to live in a place where I see majority of people that look like me doing well, living well, not necessarily rich, but living a nice life, a peaceful life. I want to experience that when I travel. Like, I don't want to go anywhere and have to truly fear for my safety. Or like Paris. Paris is a beautiful place, but people don't talk about the fact that Paris is actually rough. Like, you're not just walking. Kim Kardashian got robbed in Paris. Paris is not clean, partially because of tourism. And like, there's so much criminal activity on the streets because tourists just walk around la-di-da-di-da. I have a friend, Adrian. She was talking about she wanted to take her daughters to Paris and she wanted to take Afro pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower. I told her to be careful because people will spit into their afros. Like, certain places, they're beautiful, but you can't move how you think you plan to move, especially when you look like me. So whenever I think about going somewhere like that, especially as a woman, definitely take those things into account. I want to see the beauty. And I usually, you know, try to do my thing. Like, I don't need no man to go here, though. No, I need a group of men just in case y'all have to fight for me in my life. I'm going to need y'all.
Well, I'm going to say, you know, America got Mississippi and Arkansas. They got some places that you got.
I don't go to those places.
So let me say this then. If you know those places exist and there are Black folks there who that mostly aren't doing that well, we can also make that a, you know, an observable thing that needs some attention and might need a visit. Selma, been there recently. Yeah, it's ridiculous that we celebrate the civil rights struggle and movement, and then there's no economic investment. So I just, you know, I'm beholden to this country for a multitude of reasons, and I've been a person that thought about elsewhere heavily for a long time. But man, I gotta stay here to a certain degree for the appreciation of the struggle and the continuation and ability to voice my perspective of it, and not think of Black folks as a monolith and everybody's got some type of connection. And we are unique in our experience. But I want to say, unfortunately, Italy is on my list as well. It's very rich history. You know, it's kind of the cradle of our Western civilization, where we base our governing system on to a large degree and such.
Not Italy, Greece. Greece invented democracy.
I didn't say, look, don't be misappropriating my words. They was painting pictures of George Washington like he was Julius Caesar, not like he was who would Greece be? Aristotle or maybe Lucretius. But anyway, yeah, it's all connected. That Mediterranean is something I do want to explore, Celeste. It's on my list because of that historian thing in me, and I know it exists there in you. But I hope that you're safe wherever you go. Say a good prayer, because we don't want nothing happening to you, no matter where you at. So keep that in mind. Jay, coming to you next, man. Do you have another destination, or did you just give all three and you done?
Oh no, I'm I'm actually with Celeste on that. I don't have a desire to visit places that are saturated with Eurocentric, history, or a lot of Caucasians. It's just because I feel like there's an oversaturation of that education here. And there are so many other places that we know so little about. And so I was like, Italy. Now I may go through it. Like I wouldn't mind like, ooh, like taking one of those cruises of the Mediterranean, like over here is Italy. Okay. I might do that. The only one that's in that area that I would be interested of too. Well, I definitely want to go to Israel. I actually have a teacher, a Hebrew teacher. He spends half of the year in Israel. And when he's showing me like the pictures and walking in the streets, it's not even the stuff that we see. Like, I'm thinking they're wars and stuff. And he's like, man, they ain't even over here. Like the stuff that he's showing, and he's living there 6 months, and we're talking, doing lessons. And I'm like, dog, I need to get over there. So I want to do Israel. I have a friend who's actually Greek. And she looks, like a white woman. And one of the things that she said, she's like, no, Jay, the original Greeks are black. She said, I'm just a result of colonization. And she was like, it's so much history about blacks in Greece that we don't ever talk about. I'm like, So that made me want to like maybe Greece, but definitely Israel first. And then I heard Turkey treats you well. And so I want to do Turkey. And then if I have to be in the Mediterranean, it'll probably be Greece.
Well, I'm going to say, don't knock it till you try it, because a lot of what we get ain't necessarily what it is. But I'll also add on that whole Mediterranean, Greece, Italy, looking at some of the history associated with those areas, those ancient philosophers and ancient historians often noted that so much came from Africa, Jay. They noted it, and like you said, whitewashing of history is real. You got to be careful of it, but it doesn't limit my understanding of what's preserved better and what's worth looking at, which, Egypt's right there. So all of that is just worthy of some attention, especially for someone who appreciates where we are, because we are strongly attached to what took place in those areas. And yes, Celeste, with Greece being the primary source of the where Rome and all that stuff comes from, and Greece is like the base level of understanding Western civilization. But we know, again, they had a significant appreciation for what came out of Africa. They talked about it. Math came out of Africa. They acknowledged that.
I will say to your point, I do want to tour more of America first. Not Mississippi, because I drove through that and nothing. Alabama, it's certain states that just don't do nothing for me. Like when I drive through them, I'm like, that's it. Just like I don't like northern states. Sorry, Arthur. It's just like once you pass the Mason-Dixon line, you see what industrialization did for you, and it didn't look too nice. I like green spaces, so I definitely want to go out more west. I do want to go to Wyoming. I do want to see not only Mount Rushmore, but they have, I forgot the other monument that's on the other side of the mountain. It's after some natives. I want to see that monument.
Crazy Horse.
I want to see Wyoming. I want to see all of that. So there's a lot of places I do want to see in the States, but Mississippi and Alabama is not one of them.
Well, I'm going to defend both. Biloxi's worth the trip, and Alabama is a place that I lived for a little while that I was very
I'm sorry.
It felt like home. It was a Soup Bowl, but it felt like home.
I apologize.
You got extreme wealth and you got extreme poverty right next door to each other.
Well, I'm from Georgia, so
you from Georgia,
right? That Alabama didn't do nothing for. It's the other Georgia. It's just Georgia flipped.
It's the other. There you go.
Okay, wait.
It's very familiar.
Which place in Georgia? Because are you from like Macon? Because Atlanta a little different.
I'm from the River City, home of the Masters, Augusta.
That's on my
Come
list
on, Augusta.
That's on
you
my
get your
list
green
as well.
jackets there.
On my list as well. Julia, you got a second place that you want to throw on the table for us?
She said Augusta.
She got folks down there.
I do. Yeah, so it's so interesting hearing the perspectives being Black. So I appreciate that awareness, and thinking back and traveling to Italy, which was one of my favorite places. I don't remember now seeing Black people except for, like the Black people in our tour group. So that's unfortunate. To feel unsafe anywhere is not good. Like Jay Dwayne, we look for relationships, cultural, learning about different cultures and appreciating, but also the spiritual aspect. We are going, I recently just heard about have you heard about people going in caves for extended periods? Well, couldn't do that.
I want you to, so the next question to follow up with your third one is, are you an explorer? So just be ready to kind of go there with that one a little bit more, because that sounds like some exploration. Yeah.
Okay. So Gregory talked, because he's much better at quiet and meditating and spiritual than I am. I'm kind of go. But he talked me into going to a meditation retreat that's in Walsingham, England. And it's for 5 days. And then we're going to be open for the other 5 days to just explore around the area. Not go to the big cities like London, but and we're not going to rent a car. We're just going to take trains and buses. So first, I don't know if I can be silent for 5 days. That's really terrifying, but I'm going to try. And see what happens. But just being open and not having an itinerary, we'll probably try to book maybe a hub location and just go out from there.
Well, I'm excited for you to take that trip and to do something that's outside of the norm when it comes to traveling. That sounds like something I need to do. I talk entirely too much, and I'm interested to see if I can shut up for 5 days straight. Come on, Jay, I can do it, man. Arthur, what you got? You got one more to put on the table as far as a place that's important for you to go see?
Like y'all saying, I should have somebody just spoke about exploring the country a little bit more. I've been, to and fro. I shared a sentiment about Mississippi. I actually went to Money to do the Emmett Till trek. It's something that changed my perspective on a lot of things. The imminent danger that I felt down there. So I'm not really a big Mississippi, Alabama is a no. But I want to go out west. I do want to, my wife, she's been out there a lot. I've never been there. My homies, another lifetime, they stayed in Vegas and they all came back broke, but they always tell me, man, you got to come out there, experience that desert, things of that nature. So I'm going to do my wife and I are going to get a Winnebago, and we just going to go all 3,000 miles, man. We're going to make it our business with the youngest boy and just go see, the country first. I want to explore it, identify it, and just take it in, because it is what it is, but it is what it ain't, right? And I share your sentiment, Felton. It is. We all victims in the universe and in this world of the same hypocrisies, if you ask me. Yes, we have been victimized. We know the history, but I still want to get a grasp of how our people and other people live so we can get a better perspective of the totality of what America represents. So this country, for me, will do it.
I love it, man. I'm glad that Jay put that on the table, because there was a show we did some time ago, and it was literally somewhat about travel. And I was definitely encouraging of exploring where we're at, man. The United States is amazing. This place is where other people come to really explore our country, and a lot of us don't even do that. We're so busy trying to leave it that we forget about how fantastic the West is. Arthur, go to Vegas. Last year I went to Vegas, drove from Vegas to the Grand Canyon, and then I drove from the Grand Canyon to Phoenix. Beautiful. I've driven up the Pacific Coast Highway. Drove up and saw the redwoods in California, Northern California. It's not even like you're driving, bro. And that's here. That's a little closer than Europe or what have you. But I won't give up on the South, man. Alabama, Mississippi, we need to love on them places because a lot of us are still there. But yeah, there's places that you don't want to be at a certain point in time. But definitely go explore more of America. I think that's critically important for all of us to do because we have so much in this country that is worthy of our attention. And I've gotten to see a good portion of it. Driving through the Midwest, Jay, is a beautiful thing also, man. Seeing for miles is real. New Mexico, amazing visuals there. Yeah, Julia, hey, go outside and look at the sky there at night. Look across that desert floor, and then when you wake up the next day, you realize how much you actually did not see because it really gets dark. It really gets dark out there, and it's a lot to take in. But yeah, definitely go see and go do. So
I hate to do this, but have you been to that African village in South Carolina yet?
Which one?
It's I forgot the name of it. It's old something, but it's not really part of the U.S. It's
you talking about off in the water, off in the island
of 17 and
Gullah Geechee Island?
No, it's actually like if you're in Beaufort,
mm-hmm.
It's in a smaller town called Seabrook. But if you turn off, it's its own island. It's like they started in like 1960. Its own country. They started it in 1965. You got to pay to go in there, wow. But I haven't found anybody who wanted to go with me. But yeah, they split off and started their own country, and it's in South Carolina.
Is it Defusky Island?
No, not an island. Not any of the islands.
Okay.
It's actually inland. It's It's OY. I put it in the chat.
Yeah. Bring that to the table sometime, man. And we can do a grown.
I want to go there.
Yeah, we go do a grown folks business tour of this mysterious island you're mentioning.
Not an island, country.
A mysterious country within the country that you're mentioning.
I'm gonna ask my supervisor because she is Gullah Geechee and from that part of South Carolina. So I'm assuming she'll probably know something about it. But
depending on who they are, they don't like to be called Geechee.
See,
a lot of them own it. A lot of them own it.
She goes by it. I know it's a personal thing, but Jay Dwayne, I'm gonna ask her about it, and then we're gonna talk about it because I'll go with you. I just got to make sure I'm going up in the right place, representing myself well, and not coming to disrespect nobody.
You have no fear about going to a place you've never heard of.
Oh, they'll treat her right. She might become a wife.
I don't know, man.
A sister wife.
You got to look. You got to pay to get in. You sure?
I'm okay with that. Like I've been to Vegas, so I'm okay with. Well, I ain't have to pay to get in nowhere in Vegas.
You ain't got to pay to
but get in I'm okay to like go try things. No, as long as I know that there's like a sense of this and a sense of safety that comes with it, I'll go anywhere. Like going to Africa, I'll go to all the countries, Mozambique, send me to Nigeria, Nairobi. I'll visit Kenya, take me to Zimbabwe. I'll try it. I'll try anything once.
Okay. So I'm going to say this also. I'm probably one of the few people that is up on Vegas. Arthur, to your point, your friends come back broke sometimes, but I'm doing pretty well when it comes to Vegas. But,
I love Vegas.
Man.
Vegas. The actual city of Vegas. Like,
it's nothing like it.
Not the script. You got to get off the script and just really experience Vegas.
The whole of Vegas.
Can we do a group trip? Because
the script is not really in Vegas, and a lot of people don't know that either. That's in like Paradise something. It's called something else. It's not really in Vegas.
So I'm hearing a group trip.
Vegas is known as, man.
Right. But the real Vegas is like amazing.
Yeah, off the strip is amazing, and the views there are just mind-boggling. I mean,
Jay Dwayne, confirm it. There's a group trip that you are planning, and we're going to Vegas because my trip to Vegas wasn't that good. I ain't know about that dry heat and that alcohol don't mix.
Well, don't go in the summer. Vegas is the worst place to go in the summer.
I went for 4th of July weekend.
That's crazy. I would have told you not. Thank you, Jay. Let's say it again. It's crazy. I would never look.
You got to go October, November.
Yep. October, November, and March. Although it's windy, is a good time to go. March, April, good time. But man, you got to stay away from that in the summertime. I'm gonna go around and get this last bit more so in. And Celeste, you just confirmed that you are an adventurer. So that's the next question. You ready to go to Oyatunya? Is that how you pronounce the place, Jay? So if you're willing to go, just pay to go into a country that maybe they don't let you leave from. I don't know. Don't take any offense on Oyatunya. I'm just talking. Celeste, are you an adventurer? And if there is an adventurer in you, what's the thing you want to undertake, or what's an adventure you've already undertaken when you're traveling? What's something you did adventure-wise?
I'm an adventurer with sense. If somebody warns me not to go somewhere for whatever reason and it sounds valid, I'm not gonna go there. But I'll go anywhere. I'll go anywhere once to try it out, as long as like ain't nobody gave me no predated warning. I've always had the adventure spirit. Like I went to Hawaii when I was young, before I knew it was a bad thing apparently to go. So, but see, also I was, friendly to the locals. I wasn't trying to step on sacred rocks. I wasn't walking up to any of the Polynesian men trying to like pick up their arms and look at their tattoos. But Pacific Islander culture, amazing out there. And so I did the luau thing. I walked up a volcano. I'm that girl. Walked up the volcano, went into the jungle, went to go see a whole bunch of the Pacific Islander Polynesian monuments and things, learned the history of their queen, how America colonized it. I'll try anything. I went in a submarine and went to the bottom of the Pacific out there. Yes, I will try anything that sounds fun at least once. Jay Dwayne, I see you shaking your head, and I think I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I'm that one.
No, I did it too, friend. I went to the bottom of the ocean and don't know why the hell I did that, but I did it too.
So,
I just enjoyed it. So I'll try anything once. Like I actually thought I could climb Mount Everest or Mount Kilimanjaro one day. Then I realized people die doing that, and it's not like a real climb. It's more like a climb. And no rope, no nothing. So I'm gonna lead a climbing to people that's more in shape and more daring than me. I like to do the fun adventurous stuff where I know I'm gonna survive.
You got to be somebody that's got low body disposition in terms of how your weight works and all kind of. The best climbers don't weigh anything, Celeste. I've met a couple of them, and they kind of light. And I mean that light that don't, you like how they functional, and they can easily pull themselves up by their fingertips. That ain't me.
I'm strong. I go to the gym and stuff, but I'm a do something to do something galley, and I'm not doing all that.
Okay, I can't be hanging on like that. That ain't gonna work for me. I'm gonna be unfair. So listen, you got the right energy. That's what I'm talking about. My sister's an explorer and adventurer. She riding camels and things of that nature. Some stuff I just don't have to do. I ain't got to swim with the dolphins and sharks, but I do like to think I don't mind taking some steps in some places that are strange to me, or spending time with strangers in an environment that is theirs. New Orleans is a great place to go. Just immerse yourself in a different type of vibe and walk around and catch new environments. Now, the places they tell you not to walk into willy-nilly, I get that. But in that French Quarter, man, ain't nothing like just immersing yourself in it.
Don't step in no puddles. And the etouffee, honey, etouffee and seafood gumbo out of NOLA. I want to go back just to eat.
Go do it. Yeah, I love Deanies. Arthur, you got adventurous spirit, or you gonna play it safe out there?
Hey man, I was watching one of my wife's shows. What's that show? Where it was, I think it might have been Greenland. It's very cold. I'm that kind of guy that's like Alaska. I want to, bear that element. Make me an igloo. See some polar bears. I'm just that kind of, guy. I always had that in me. Like I want to see how it is to brave that kind of element. Being from up north, of course, is brutal. Some of those winters, and I was a landscaper, so I was that guy out there in those blizzards as a little kid, hustling, shoveling snow, freezing cold ice storms. So I want to do that, man. And my wife said, "Well, you're gonna do that by yourself." I said, "Well, I'm gonna take a shot at it. Get my little rifle. If I see a polar bear or something, scare it off." But probably a few weeks in one of those cold climates like that.
From what I hear, you better hope that polar bear is not hungry, because they don't care. They ain't scaring that easy then. But
Yeah,
I dig that, man. The challenge of being in an environment that is purely working against you. I'm willing to subject myself to something like that for a couple of days to see how I acclimate. Like I'll take a cold shower every now and then just to get that adjusted. Like this is something that you should just challenge yourself to do. And I get that, man. So that I'm not much for the outdoors and bugs, but outdoors and just cold and figuring out how to stay warm, and as long as I got a parachute in case I need to pull it, get out of that situation, I'm with you. I dig that. Jay Dwayne, you got some adventurous spirit.
I will go with slightly adventurous. Because I'm not going to put myself in danger, and I'm not going to do anything in the cold. Sorry, Arthur, you can have all that. Because stuff just hurt in the cold. It's not so much about it being cold, but it's like if I bump my toe in the cold, that thing lasts a little bit longer.
It'll stop. It'll stop because you can't feel it otherwise.
Yep, and then I'm already predicting the weather in my older age too. Nah, that ain't gonna work for me. I do want to spend some time in Utah. It's really out west. I want to spend a lot of time out west and just really enjoy that. And I'm not too afraid of the heat, because you can take enough clothes off to be cool. You can't put enough clothes on to be warm sometimes, in them frigid areas. And I want to explore some Canada too. I do want to explore more of Canada. I've been there before, but I definitely want to explore it now. But west in Canada, I really do like it out there, so I want to spend some more time out there.
Yeah, I totally. Canada's on the list as well, and the Pacific North.
And I clarify,
yes.
The beaches in Alabama and Mississippi are great.
Okay, well, thank you. Give them some love. They deserve their flowers.
Yeah, because they all share the same beach. The Gulf is fine.
Yeah.
Now they do need some love, especially Alabama. They need a pressure washer.
I mean, it depends on where you're at. Birmingham is pretty cool.
But it's dusty. It looked like a northern city. Like, why it look so old and it's a southern city?
Selma was definitely not. They have some serious neglect there. But Birmingham,
in Mississippi, you can get some nice property for low.
Well, the flooding definitely contributes to that.
But I drive past it to go out west.
Yeah, but agreed, man. Like west is got some levels of exploration that are worthy of our attention. And again, Soquel is a place that I went to that's and I might be saying it wrong, but there's a nice little town next door called Felton. It was pretty fascinating to get to my destination and then realize that there's a town right next door with my name spelled exactly the same in Northern California. So yeah, get there, man. The redwoods are amazing.
So we're going back to Vegas is what we're saying. Julia, you're going to plan it since you got travel experience.
Hey, man, let's go. And I'm a driver, so I'll drive us a couple of places. I don't mind driving 3, 6, 5, 10, 15 hours. So
let's plan it.
Yeah.
And I got some peeps out there. We can do it. And the mountains, you got to experience the mountains too, Celeste, and in Vegas too. It's nice out there.
I'm the daughter of a trucker, so y'all over here talking about some driving 13, 15 hours sound like my father.
No, he's saying once we fly out there, he'll drive to different places.
Okay. Because I was like, see, I have the dad who's like, get in the back of the Explorer. We driving to Miami from Greensboro.
Been there, done that. But yeah, I've been there, done that. But the thing is, once you get out there, it's better to take that in out west. And don't get me wrong, you can fly to Vegas, but then just drive. There's nothing like seeing the landscapes.
Yeah. Florida's a state I hate for that very reason. It's just long in there.
Yeah, and
it don't have no cousins or nothing.
Yeah, but it's great when you get to your destination.
Right.
Julia, take us home with your adventurous spirit. You already mentioned you getting ready to go in the cave and do some isolation. Is there anything you've done or anything you want to put on the table that you plan on doing outside of the cave dwelling? Looking and meditating and all that good stuff. So what you got?
Yeah, I ain't going in no cave with spiders, and I'm going to a monastery where it's safe. no caves. No, I just agree with the Pacific Northwest area is so beautiful. I'd go back. It's so clean. They're more environmentally conscious. Green, lots of green space like Jay Dwayne likes. It's beautiful. Yeah, I think we had to do a grown folks trip. Grown folks go west.
Hey, got a deal, and we are planning to do a live recorded version of Grown Folks here pretty soon at a venue probably in Greensboro. So we got to coordinate that, get everybody's calendar on the right page, and it'll most likely be over the summer. So let's hopefully you can make sure you're available. Arthur, thanks for joining us, man. Good to see you. And if you got a moment, hang around after we get off, because me and you need to catch up on a couple things or set up a time to meet anyway. Julia, thanks. Tell Gregory I said hello. Celeste, always appreciate your energy and presence. Jay Dwayne, thanks for being here. Danya, thanks for doing what you do. Everybody who got to tune in tonight, hope you got some new destination plans based on what we shared, and maybe took some off your list based on what some other people said because they was hating. Y'all be good. Have a good night. Take care.